And we are live. Hello, everyone. Welcome to the Alien Spaceship stream. You could be watching from anywhere around the country or the world, and I really appreciate every single one of you. Coming to you from the Spaceship Studios from a galaxy far, far away. Alright, everybody. So, we are going to start the stream. Have the stream started. I'm going to switch over the other window so everybody can see me. Alright. Let's go here. Okay. This way. And camera is a little bit. Alright, so hello everyone, it is I, Alien Spaceship. I hope everybody's been having a good day, good evening. And today we had our trial. It lasted a little bit longer than it did yesterday, and tomorrow it will continue on Friday. Okay. My opinion about the trial was that it was... I'm still reviewing it with the chat. It seems guilty in my opinion, but the other people may think that the state hasn't proven their case yet. Some people have said that. I think it's guilty, but I am interested to see other points of view. And we had a very good stream yesterday, the past 2 days. I remember with watching the trial marathon that we had. It was really cool. And yes, yesterday was a day that they caught the NOLA inmates. And although that was yesterday, I was hyper-focused on the other thing that we were doing to mention what happened. And I believe I mentioned in one of the chats where we were when I got the notification about it. So I'm glad that the inmate was caught. And the person's been on the run for a couple of months. In Atlanta, we did not really think the person was in the city, but one or two of them were caught in the city. They must have had extra help to be able to get out like that. Okay. Now, let's see this. One thing that I'll be doing will be reviewing. I'm going to see about the title real quick. Let's see if that is something that I could do. Because YouTube has this new setting, which I could probably change it. I was thinking about, that would probably be in settings. Okay. Yeah, so Grows is the inmate's last name that was caught. And I was thinking it was possible the person may never be found. Certainly was a possibility. But I am glad that eventually they were captured. The person was captured in Atlanta. Let's see. Oh, hello, Moki. Good evening to you. Welcome to the stream. I'm glad to have you here with us. Trial Hangout. Let's see, NOLA inmate. Good evening to you. And I'll tell you, Moki, that I have some news. So, Libby she told me she has been taking a mental break from everything, but she's doing okay. And she commented on some of the shorts and some of the it was the videos and shorts and some posts that I made. So she's doing all right. Okay. It was nice seeing you earlier today with at the trial. Let's see. Is that working? Okay, good. Oh, she sent me something on IG. I haven't looked at IG. I will look. All right. So that going on, and yeah. So I think that it is, good to keep up with the different friends and different people that we have, and I'm glad to know about that. Okay, let's see here. Ah, yes, I see that there. Let's see, was there any notification that was directly sent through? Although, yes, I see there's a message. Okay, got to have that. Okay, now going this way. Yesterday at 9:20 something. Okay, now do you, Moki? What is your opinion about the trial that we're watching? Do you think the defendant is guilty or innocent? Okay, so I'm back. Yeah, so I think, in my opinion, the defendant in that case is guilty, but I will still be looking into seeing what my opinion is as the trial goes on, and I'll certainly be with you all there tomorrow. All right, and Hoku says, I was going not guilty, but late testimony today moved me toward guilty. Okay, if that's what you think. Yeah, I was thinking guilty consistently through the time that I was watching the trial. And yeah, today I could definitely see why you would think that. Because sometimes at first it may not really seem like it would be, but then as time goes on, there's defining moments that will determine if somebody's guilty or innocent. For instance, with some of the trials that we've seen, it's clear that they're guilty, in my opinion. Say, like, Tellus was clearly guilty. You have different people that were clearly guilty. Sometimes it could be 50-50 in one way with one way or another. With Depp, a lot of people thought that Amber Heard was wronged, and then as they saw Amber in the trial and how she was in the stand, people were starting to lean more towards her being the one that was antagonizing the situation. So yes, certain moments can do that, definitely. And Moki says, I can see being scared, panicking, hiding the gun, and lying, even if it was self-defense. Yeah, that is another factor that could be taken into consideration. Yeah, and because sometimes it could be a mystery, and I always think that a good trial where you're not always completely certain if they're guilty or innocent is a good trial. Then there's controversial trials that will rip everybody up. There's a couple of trials that are kind of like Timu trials. So this one I think is a really good one because it kind of puts you at the edge of your seat. Very good points. Okay. And she says, and defense says he had almost Lita killed her and then just showed up coked out of his head. Right. And when that happens, for instance, you would in a sense would have a justification for the say a self defense where somebody is coming in to try to go and attack you that's on drugs, that's on those things that there's many body cam footage of these type of circumstances, and it can be very dangerous for somebody, especially a woman. So it does. Prosecution had something to work with more than some of the other defendants. Like Monica Sementilli's defense had nothing really to work with, and like sometimes it's just a loss, but other times they have something to work with to make it look a certain way. And Oki also says she shoots at his feet. Right. And if it was a headshot, people might think it could be something else. But when something's like I say, it could look like a warning shot. it could look different than the other type. Oh, hello, D Sauce. Good to see you, buddy. Yeah, because all those factors are things that will make you wonder. Sometimes guilty, sometimes innocent. Because remember today in chat they were disputing about did the state make their case yet or not. And to give some background about this trial, okay, she is going to have. Okay, so you think in this situation she has to testify? That may help her because sometimes with defendants, it's best for them to not take the stand, and other times it may help them to take the stand. So that'll be another thing that could sway something one way or another, definitely. Right, and trial opens for a South Florida woman accused of deleting partner and becoming pregnant in jail. Giving an overview about the trial that we're watching is the trial of the 30-year-old South Florida woman accused of fatally shooting her partner and later began Wednesday and Miami-Dade Circuit Court 3 years after the 2022 killings that drew national attention. And yeah, sometimes I can see where a murder happens and it'll take a couple of years to get them put on trial. And all that time they're sitting in there. And yeah, because the way the defense made it look, it can appear as self-defense from a certain point of view. Then when the other stuff comes out, it makes you wonder, kind of second guess about it. That's why it's always good to have these, different sides to really get the truth out. Moki, I do not know. But I will see if I can find out. During the opening statements, the prosecutors portrayed Daisy Link as both the person who orchestrated the deletion killing of Pedro Jimenez and a liar who tried to cover her tracks. They presented audio recordings and body camera footage from Homestead police officers that they said contradict her account and what happened on June 25, 22. As the jurors watched the videos, Link covered her ears and at times had it hid her face. The footage showed the aftermath of the shooting that left Jimenez Leah dead outside of her home. Quote, in the fit of rage, she pulled out a pew-pew gun and pointed it at the victim. Then the prosecutor... Moki says, hard to follow the stab case because of the streaming issues. Oh, okay. Yeah, I've heard about there is issues with the streaming with that one. But I'm not keeping up with that one. The one I'm keeping up with is the Florida one. If we're referring to a different trial, which I think we are. Oh, you're watching a Dodgers. Nice. Okay. Glad that... Thank you for hanging out with us, buddy. D-Sauce. Right. They presented the audio recordings and body camera footage from Homestead police officers, and they said contradict her account what happened on June 25, 22. As jurors watched the videos, Link covered her ears and at times hid her face. The footage showed... Oh, Gloria, good evening. Scared. Officers said contradict her account of what happened on June 25, 22. As jurors watched the videos, Link covered her ears and at times hid her face. The footage showed the aftermath of the shooting that left Jimenez deleted outside the home. In the fit of rage, she pulled out a pew-pew gun and pointed it at the victim. The prosecutor told the jurors when Mr. Jimenez turned and ran in fear. She fired a single shot, and the surveillance video will confirm it. And I do believe in self-defense, although it depends on the circumstances where, you people, there will be trials, there will be things like that will happen when somebody does this type of activity. And when you have a murder trial, because that's what happens when you defend yourself, you'll see if the person was really sincere about it. Because, say if a crackhead goes and busts the door down and you're in a messed up situation, and even if you're not trying to delete the person, you're trying to fire a warning shot or trying to defend yourself, especially if it's a woman, it would be quite frightening to go through something like that. Then on the other hand, what the prosecution was saying, I was kind of feeling it was more guilty. But as I said, I still have an open mind about it, and it could be unpredictable, like a storm. It could just go either way. My Instagram, I'll give it to you right now, Glo. Right now. I know what it is. I just want to make sure I'm giving it to you correctly. Okay, and we'll give it to you right now. Let's see. That's my IG. Right there. Okay, and now going this way. Yeah, it definitely could be a dramatic thing to certainly go through what the defendant was going. Okay, so defense points to abuse and fear. The defense did not dispute that Link fired the weapon and argued that he acted in self-defense after years of domestic abuse. Mr. Jimenez showed up unannounced and accused Miss Link. Oh yeah, thank you, Glo. I really appreciate that. Defense acted in self-defense after years of domestic abuse. Mr. Jimenez showed up unannounced and accused Miss Link of cheating on him, even though they were no longer together. Defense attorney Tony Thomas said he had no intent of deleting killing him. Thomas previously sought to have the case dismissed under Florida's Stand Your Ground law, but Judge Lodi Jean denied motion. The judge cited the key evidence, including 911 recordings, police body cam footage, and ring camera video from night of the shooting. Prosecutors highlight inconsistent statements. Prosecutors also called the Homestead police officers Miami-Dade deputies to testify. The Link initially denied any involvement in the deletion killings investigations. She did not know who could have done this to him. Pregnancy while in jail added public spotlight. Link's case gained national attention after she became pregnant while in jail in 2023. She later gave birth to a daughter in June 24, reportedly after inseminating herself with the sperm of another inmate. Scared. Joan D. Paz. Both Link and D. Paz described the conception as a miracle. Trial resumes Thursday, 10:30 a.m., with prosecutors expected to be present additional video evidence. All right, and that is oh no. My sincerest condolences for her loss. Prayers for her. That is so heartbreaking to have to do that with a pet. Thank you, Moki, for giving us the news. The unfortunate, sad news. Well, it was nice talking to her yesterday. I'm glad that she was able to hang out with us and have a good time and able to talk to her friends yesterday evening before the, this unfortunate day happened. And yeah, so yeah, rest in peace to that. Shout out to her. She's always so sweet and kind. We had, Erin must really be going through a lot, so she needs well-deserved rest. You know, and we're always, are here for each other when we have a problem. And she came and told us about what was happening with the dog, and we gave her encouragement and that we were there for her and told her about. I'm glad she was able to tell us what happened, and I appreciate uh, knowing about this situation. Moki, I totally agree with you because there is. I was thinking like I would love it where if there was dogs and cats that can live as long as humans. Now turtles and like tortoises specifically can outlive humans, and like there is Charles Darwin's turtle that was very that was alive for a long time after he passed away. That the crocodile hunter knew, Steve Irwin knew. And yeah, it's really heartbreaking that it's like that. And if there is a way they could live longer, I would like it because for instance, I'll speak from my own experience where yeah, there's cats that I had when I was 16 years ago plus or 10 years ago, even 10 years ago, that aren't here anymore. And as I said, last year there was the cat that lived near the time of the end of Hurricane Katrina, closer to that time period, but around a couple of years after it. And that was incredible that cat lived that long, nearly 20 years. So, but yeah, it's definitely heartbreaking, and it's unfortunate that they don't live as long as we do. And Moki says, I've lost 3 cats and a dog. And Moki, I know how you feel, and that's extremely heartbreaking. And dogs are really special. I have relatives like aunts that had dogs and have dogs. So from a second-hand point of view, I could also relate to it. It's really, there was this nice red dog my aunt had that I miss. Yeah. And as I said, I experienced a dog before in Kentucky. Like I had a dog for a little while in Kentucky. It was my aunt's dog, the other aunt's dog. And so dogs are pretty cool too. So I could definitely empathize with what you're going through. And greeting Zoe, good evening to you. And Sauce says, my dad put my dog down in 91. He was born in 76, broke my heart. His name was Slugger, and not day did he spend inside my house. He was a warrior for sure. And he will always be remembered as a noble warrior he was. And rest in peace to him. Mary Toodles, his favorite cat, Spritle, this big black cat, watched over me when I was growing up. That one was one that she and I love very much. And he had similar issues to Zoe's dog was having. Not Zoe, Aaron. I get people mixed up with my Timu brain. So when Aaron's dog that went through that, we had a cat that went through something similar a couple years ago. And Zoe said, lost my husband, 3 cats, and my dog in 3 years. Zoe, my condolences for your loss. All right, that is terrible. You've been through a lot, and yeah, see how the world can change in 3 years. That's why I do believe to cherish every single moment, because you never know what can happen for good or better for worse. And we can control what we can control, and we can be there for each other, and I'm glad that we are doing this now. So yeah, Moki, and I'm glad that you took care of the cat that's sickly right now. It's very I really admire that so much because my family has done so much for animals, so I like to see other people like you all in chat that are caring for animals as well. And you all did what you all can do, and that is the noble thing. Oh, amen, Zoe. Yes, amen. Praying for Moki's kitty. Yes. Yeah, and I said many cats. My family, what they do, speaking for myself, which some of y'all could relate to this, is that my family did animal rescue. They rescue cats. My family in England, so this is my other side of my family, my father's side, rescued cats and dogs too. So both my grandparents, my grandmothers did the same thing in different countries. Incredibly, it's great minds think alike. So, and they've had different pets throughout time. So I've seen only through my American side. Only through my American side. I was only in this country. I, have seen many cats in my time. So, and I do miss them. So I certainly, uh, you lose a pet, it's like losing a part of yourself. It really is a devastating thing. I mean, there is Mei, that was a tabby cat. 10 years ago this year, passed away. And as I said, it's awful day after Charlie got pewed. I had to put my 14-year-old dog down. So much grief in this world. Oh no, Zoe. And that both of those traumatic things happening at the same time. You should never. I wish nothing but the best for you, and that should never have happened. But thank you for letting us know what happened, and that's very unfortunate. On top of the thing that happened with Charlie, and the mass trauma of that, then that certainly is a bitter, bitter thing indeed. I call it it's like a rotten cherry on top. And Sauce says, in fact, I lost my dog in New Year's Eve in 91, tuning to 92. Oh, Sauce, yeah. New Year's can actually be pretty dark in some situations. I remember, well, some of my friends and I were hanging out on another stream, and somebody was in an accident on New Year's, and a dude's head went through the windshield. And yeah, just that family's going to remember that the rest of their lives, that their relative was deleted by going through a windshield on New Year's. So yeah, definitely. And right when a new year is going to happen, 92, it's a dark beginning. I mean, from the January thing in my city, certainly I experienced that. So yeah, that is very unfortunate, Sauce. About the timing is just a kick in the rear, definitely. Like I said, it's hard to be patient with that kind of injury. I hope you are taking care of yourself. Yes, definitely. With Zoe. Yeah, we hope that Zoe is taking care of yourself. And I will say, I hope everybody is taking care of themselves as well. And Glow sent a message too, if I may have missed it. Okay, so Glow says, my lab will turn 14 in December. To see him getting weak and arthritic breaks my heart. But he still thinks he's a puppy and tries to run and play. Oh, in his mind, he is the same age. He is a young pup. Okay, Moki, understood. Yeah, so also, Glow, sincerest, my sincerest heartbreak about of that situation. And oh, hello, Caravel. Good to see you, buddy. Yeah, so I certainly think I'll get to you in a moment, Caravel. And yeah, so Glow, that's also an unfortunate thing with in your situation, and because I said the dog still believes that he's young, but even with but even with humans, it's like the a teacher told me one time that the body gets like their body is an older person, but their mind is still in their 20s and 30s. And even like when I'm on YouTube, I want to treat everybody as if they were my age, and because I knew that people, we all time goes on for everybody, and one day I will also, God willing, I will continue to age as I get older, and that's why I I said I treat you all as if y'all were around my age group. So, because at this, we're all at one time, we're the same age at one time. So, I do think that is very true. And thank you, Glow, for sharing. And Zoe says, "Thank you, Alien." And yes, Smokey, that's devastating injury. We see that at work, but I just love him. Yep, I think I'm 25. LL. Yes, yes. And okay, Caraville. So, how are we feeling about Daisy? I hope she gets not guilty. Now, Caraville, there seems to be a strong case argument for her being uh, not guilty. Now, in my opinion, I think that it may be guilty from things that I've seen recently and today. But I am still open for another point of view about it, and I'm still having an open mind about what I think. I'm not made the decision yet, but I kind of am conflicted. I think that I can see a point where she may be not guilty, but I could also kind of see where she could be guilty at the same time. But we can all agree, if some crackhead goes and causes a problem, it would not be an ideal situation anybody should go through, especially a woman. Now, careful. Why do you think not guilty? If you want to talk about it, because I do want to hear your why you think it's not guilty. As I said, I'm just trying to absorb all the different points of view as I watch it, but I'm kind of leaning more guilty, but I'm not completely concrete on either side at the moment. Yeah, so Stripe was this very nice cat, which is full of love completely. She would always love on me and everybody else, and there was these times where we would evacuate the city when some hurricanes would come in. After this is back 2008, after Katrina, a couple of years after Katrina, and we go to Mississippi at this place we had. It was actually a big an oil company, and we would bring all the cats on board, and we would bring them in. So when we would bring the cats to the place, the cat would still be loving on me over there. So it was very interesting. I liked being in Mississippi too for a little while. It was nice, and I enjoyed it when we were evacuating, of course, because we had to. And then we moved the cats back here when the storm was over with, and yeah, that cat was very nice. There's many of them that my family would feed, but as time went on, they kind of died out, and there's more. All right, everybody, I am back. So I went out for a moment. So here I am. Oh, hello, Joe. Good to see you, buddy. Welcome to the stream. As I said, I am back, everybody. I went out for a moment. So I'll continue my. And thank you, Caravel, for telling me your point. I will read it in a moment. Thank you very much. All right, so Zoe says, I adopt senior kitties because no one seems to care about them, but actually they're the best. Oh, senior kitties are the best. Shout out to the senior kitties. And I think that it's really important to. Mary Toodles likes to take care of senior kitties too. It's kind of sad, of course, when they pass away, but still, yeah, they're very nice and mature. And another thing that happened was, as I was saying, my point before, is that with the cat Stripe, my family would bring cats to Mississippi when we would evacuate, and then we'd bring her back down here. And Stripe is a cat with some stripes. Then when she got older, she kind of got dark and gray, and she had like a fluffy tail. Yeah, she was always loving on me, even like in Mississippi when we all went there. And there was like a bed, and it was kind of dark, in this other place that we were in, and cat would lay on me and love all over me. So here or there, the cat would be full of love, and we. So yes, I enjoyed that cat's company, and my family had many of them, but it's a smaller group now because over time they, passed away. But our smaller group now is pretty cool. Yes, they are good judges of character, absolutely. All right, Careful says he pistol whipped her nearly to deletion death, and she had to go to the hospital, so that is all documented. He then showed up next day or day after that, uninvited, and started a fight, and she shot him in the leg. So it was self-defense, as he had no reason to be there, and she was making plans to leave the state. And if she was trying to end him, she would have aimed. She wouldn't have aimed for the leg. And oh yes, Glow. Thank you. Oh yeah, careful. And from what you're saying, yes, that she did not shoot him in the head, because if she wanted to go and delete him, she would have shot him in the head. And as I said, especially a woman going through something like that in that situation, I can, you know, no woman should have to go through something like that, because we talk about the Depp trial often, and you could see like the difference between how Depp was and this person was to her. And thank you for your position, Carville. I certainly do agree with what you're saying there. And I think with a lot of times, the drugs and stuff, and people will be like so enraged and they just go into the psycho mode, and that is, nobody, should have to go through something like that. Definitely. And as I said, I'm going to continue to be watching it to get my point, but thank you, Carville, for your position. And Joe, yeah, hello. They know things. Yeah. So there's this house outside, a little. What it is a metal frame of like a table. And with the cat, my grandpa was into roofing. He had a roofing company, so I learned about how to do it when I was very young, and I made a little cat roof on like a slanted piece of wood for cats to go in, but it wasn't as that much space. Then one of my grandpa's friends came to watch it. Good morning, students. Oh, hello, Regina. And Regina, thank you for the email about what happened in the city. And I got the notification when it happened. And what I did was, in that situation, yesterday we were watching this. I got so fixated on the trial marathon thing I was running. I did mention it, but not as much as I may have normally have mentioned it. But I did, make a video about it, and even it was a little bit later, and I did talk about it here in a couple other places. So I'm glad that you always appreciate the information, because that person being caught is definitely a miracle, because we thought that the person would just never be found. And yeah, they're in Atlanta, and the police said the police were like, they're working clock after clock, time and time again, to get that information out there. They, and that person had to do everything right, and they had to get one thing right, and they got it. Yes, and supposedly the feline can sleep deep past our spectrum into the infrared, maybe further. No sleep, see deeply. Ah, thank you, Joe. I didn't really know about that. They certainly can sleep deeply, and Bubbles right now is watching the other tree lights that are on, because he likes Christmas tree lights, although it's not Christmas, and he is just living his best life right now. So, yeah, then when there's this metal thing like went to a table, that he moved it out the way, and I was thinking that could be the new cat house. It could be definitely like a little house for a cat. So I got that thing, and I put some rocks as a foundation, and like cemented it in there, and then I put the cat roof on, so some of these groups of cats can go in it. The wispy cats, these thin red cats. So that was pretty cool. So my grandma would feed cats sometimes across the city in different places, and then she would go later on, was just fixated here because they had a little cat colony here. And over time, as I said, it went away, and then we just have the ones in the back. Now there's Bubbles' brother, which is the twin of the cat in here. And then there's the other cats that are he's outside with this cat named Claude and Exotica and a couple other ones that just kind of come periodically for food, and sometimes they try to get in fights. Scared. So that's the ones we're feeding. And on good news, and Joe says, I meant they can see past the spectrum. We can see infrared spectrum. Oh, okay. Yes, I do believe that cats can see things. For instance, cats can like look at things in the wall and look around a room and see things that we can't see. That there's things that are not there. And yeah, Zoe says I believe that. I had an experience with one of my cats, and yes, I get it. Oh yeah, absolutely. So you'll see even dogs like ghost stories, for instance. There's dogs that can see. There's some ghost videos on YouTube allegedly, and there's this this dog kind of like whimpering a little bit because there's something passing by the room. It was in a room. There's some invisible that it was seeing, and I do believe they could see the spiritual realm. I do believe they could see that. And Zoe says, "My cat and I were both sleeping, and something weird happened when I woke up in a strange experience." Oh, I like to know about that, Zoe. Interesting. And yeah, because I believe that cats have a sixth sense to them, and they have an intuition where they can sense things that are going to happen, and they can kind of know that something else is going on. Because there's a time when Bubbles was like staring at the wall. Another time, so there's a time where he's like looking at something. A time he's like staring at the wall, and there's nothing there. And like, yeah, they could definitely see something. So I yeah, that makes sense. And cats are good companions to have to be able to detect those things. And another thing about cats is that they allegedly help people that are having medical problems. And when they're having medical, like say somebody was like having a heart attack or something was happening, and the cat went and protected, like got the person help somehow, or they knew something was going to happen. So that was something else that they have a another way to kind of detect what their owner is going through, what people are going through. I think cats are very high in empathy. Joe says, I believe that as well. Both canine and feline can see beyond what we're accustomed to. Yeah, there's this other thing with a dog. With Max is the dog's name. It was a indigenous Native American dog, and when I was in Kentucky, I've said this before probably 100 times. So I was in Kentucky and seeing different historical sites with my family up there, and I said I love the rolling hills up there. And the atmosphere is different. Where I have to kind of swallow sometimes, and it kind of clicks because the latitude is different. And it was summer, but it was much, 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 much cooler than down here. Okay, much cooler. And we were we were walking the grounds of one of the battlefields, and a lot of it's just hills and it's just ground. You'll see different landmarks where you'll have a plaque and there's some information about the battle that happened, and it's just crazy and surreal. You can feel the vibes of like people were there deleting each other back and forth, and lots of amputations and dark things and were happening. And we were next to one of the cannons, and I thought the cannons were so incredible because they were in really good condition, and those are the same types of cannons that were used on the field during the war, and they have these old timey wheels that they're used to move around on, and you could really just feel the presence. And there are brown cannons, and something peculiar occurred for no reason. So I was with Max. We were just kind of hanging out with the dog was with us. The dog started violently barking at something right next to us, or like kind of like in front of me, and there's nothing there. Okay, there's nobody there, but the dog started kind of growling and barking, and it definitely had to see something that we weren't able to see. And as Joe says, that the canine and feline can see beyond and sense beyond what we're accustomed to. Yeah, so I believe he either sensed something or saw something that we didn't. It couldn't have been something really that good because it was for a dog to growl like that. It's not really. It said just a cannon. It was by the cannon. It was by the cannon, right next to it. And besides that, it was smooth sailing. And I remember the dog I used to. It was big hills. It was just lots of land, tons of acres. I used to run around and have the dog with me. You agree, Joe? Yeah, definitely. Yeah, definitely. If I had I had an iPod at the time, but if I was like taking videos, I would have taken video of that. If like me now, I would have certainly just I would have made a short about that one. It would have been scared. Yes, yes. And kind of like the pirate game we that I play, where we go to Raven's Cove and it sees like those red ghosts, those phantoms. So definitely the dog either sensed or saw some sort of a phantom, in my opinion. So that is like some sort of a creature, like a spirit thing, kind of like on Raven's Cove. Joe said their nose's sense of smell is millions of magnitude above ours. Oh yeah, absolutely, definitely. And I said with Max, we used to run for and walk around the hills, and it was very nice. So you said the dogs. I've experienced both dogs and cats, although predominantly cats, of course. And the lake was there's a little pond, and there's like a little pedal, like a kind of like a bicycle thing in there where you could kind of like pedal, and it's kind of like a little steamboat but with a pedal on it. And we kind of would go fishing in there, and I used to like just go hang out and just cruise around in the pond. It was fun. And there's a dock, so yeah, it was pretty cool up there. Yeah, so that was my encounter with the dog with Max and the ghost of the battlefield, one of the Civil War battlefields. And there was lots of different flags that were used. As you know, in the Civil War, there's a flag that's a famous flag that's used quite often. But there's actually so many other ones that were also used during that war. I didn't even know that. Like every state had their own flag that broke off from the Union, and it was interesting to learn about the history about it. And in my opinion, I'm glad that we are a united country, and we're not broken up into two pieces. And I went to Abraham Lincoln's house, and I saw the roof where he used to bump his head because he was very tall. So I saw some interesting things up there. And Joe said both feline and canine share senses that make ours look primitive, honestly. Yeah, and if there's, as I said, another incident where a person was like had a dog with them on their bed, and they were hanging out, and nothing was in the room, and the dog started, as I said, whimpering. So the dog was looking at something, but no one could see what that is. But yeah, so I believe that, in my opinion, as a religious person, I believe that God, created these animals. He created all things, the heavens and the earths, and in His great magnificence, He gave our best friends our abilities that we don't have. Because the point is that I think a symbolism with the cats and the dogs and us is that we have our strengths and weaknesses, and that working together with the felines and the canines and the humanoids, working together is the best outcome you could have. A human could do something where a cat can't get up and get its own water, but I can, but the cat can sense something I can't. So I do think that that type of teamwork dynamic is very important to have. Absolutely. So on a positive of yeah, thank you, Joe. I appreciate y'all for the agreement. When I got back down here, it was like I felt like kind of cool for a second, and then I was like outside, and it went like humid. I'm like, ooh, I felt it. I remember, I think when I got off in the airport, I could feel it. I'm used to it now. When I was growing up, I wasn't really a big fan of it, but I've gotten used to it, the humidity. But of course, it's nicer. Cooler weather's nicer, of course, obviously. But I've gotten more used to it. But yeah, it was really something. So the other thing with the cats is that, on a positive note, the kitten the new kitten has been brought inside, and the kitten is being cared for, and it's a new beginning. Like a kitten, in my opinion, is cool to see because it's like a new beginning, with a pet. Oh yes, thank you, Joe. And the kitten is so cute. We do not know what gender it is yet, and so right now the kitten is gender neutral right now. So it's sitting on like a little deck, and it watches the other cats because it's in a safe area, and it's giving food and being cared for. And I'm glad that it's not out anymore because it was hanging out under one of the vehicles we used to use, and now it is hanging out with itself. It's in a safe, nice place. So as time persists, we will continue updating about that with those subjects. And yeah, today before I got in here, I saw ET and Normal and Normal's also named Praline, Normal the Praline, and ET's an alien cat, and they both are very funny and silly. I made shorts about them before, so they're both are doing fine. And then I saw the cats in the main area where you have this tomcat, Chester, and a couple other ones. Oh yes, very welcome, Joe. Yes. Regina says cat, they, them. Yes. The cat is they, them at the moment until we can figure out what gender it is. So the there is a cat named Emoji. So Emoji the cat was this cat that loved to play with the emoji toys, so we called him Emoji. And there's tweets, so he's a very big cat. And oh yes, you did, Zoe. You did. Yeah. So he, yeah, definitely a model cat. Definitely is so cute. It looks a lot like Chester, so it must be one of Chester's great something grandchildren, because Chester had a lot of offspring, and they all resemble him. So yeah, definitely looks related to Chester. But Chester hasn't had kids in a very long time. But yeah, that is Kitty is so cute. Yeah, definitely abundance of joy. And Mary Toodles has been looking after him, they them, for a also. And I appreciate her help with the cats. She's been doing a lot of work with them. And yeah, so I said the cat's very good. Just he sits there, cat sits there and chills, and was like kind of watching me. And I was talking to the cat, telling him hello. It was nice to see them. And the other one's doing fine. So sometimes when Bubbles' brother has a fight, he gets in fights with other cats. He gets all messy, and that's how we know that he went into he must have had a fight club. So the cat of Bubbles likes to do fight club. And in that situation, it is said we're giving the kitten of kitten milk. By the way, he's getting kitten. They them is getting kitten milk. Joe said they're much more innocent than us. To care for them shows exemplary character. Yeah, and I there's a different types of cats. So one thing about cats is there's short-haired cats and there's long-haired cats. Now, chat, I want to ask you all a question. Do y'all have or had a cat that was long-haired? I'm curious if y'all want to answer. And Carol says GF asked for the oldest cat in the shelter and got an 18-year-old princess. Figured she would give her the best last few months of her life, and she lived to 23. Wow. Oh. Oh, okay. That is very noble of her to take care of the cat. Very sweet. And she lived a little bit longer than originally expected. Thank you for sharing, Caravel. And Zoe says, we used to have 2 litters of kittens a year. They'd be born under my husband's wheelchair ramp. Aw, that is so cute. In Pussycat TV, she has kittens. I saw her kittens live, where the kittens giving birth live, and I was with her while the cats were uh, giving birth. The cows giving birth. I never saw a cat give birth before, and yeah, it's like watching those old cameras develop, where people used to develop film in those red rooms, and it's like the cat's like a skin color, then it turns and develops into the color that it's supposed to be. It's incredible to watch. All right, Carol says most of ours have been short haired, but we have had a couple of haired ones. And Carol said the cat lasted 5 years. Oh well, yeah. Well, there you go. Yeah. And Joe says they all have their own personalities, no matter the cost. In my experience, yeah, I do agree with you, Joe. Yeah, the torties, I believe, have an attitude. They have tortitude. Zoe says, I build 2 little houses under the ramp, and they love it. Oh, that is so awesome. Very, very industrious. I like that you did that. So I'm sure, and I know they felt very safe and cozy being under your care. So yeah, I saw the kittens give birth, and that was always on the YouTube, and that was so cool to see. Now with the other one on YouTube, the not YouTube, my grandparents told me, back in the '60s, '70s, they wanted their cat. They would have cats that would give birth, like in the living room, but later on, a lot of the cats were being fixed as like time went on in the future. So that was something good to know, because as I said, YouTube was a time where I saw that. I said they're so sweet. They have their own personalities. Now we had tortie cats, and I love their markings. They're just like a fall camouflage, and they always had an attitude to them. And sometimes it seems that red cats are really have like a wild side to them. Like E.T. loves to bite on my arm and he likes to do his thing. Yeah. And so I think different types of cats have different types of personalities. Joe said, I love felines, even though I'm canine adjacent. They are all amazing little creatures. Yeah, I like both cats and dogs. They're very cool. Very cool indeed. Now, speaking of other pets we've had, I've had a fish before. In the early 2000s, I had a fish I got from a birthday party. So I got a fish from a birthday party, and it looked like the American flag colors. It was red and blue. And I loved it very much. And then we got a big tank for it, and we got a couple of them. Then there's a hermit crab, Hermie, the hermit crab. I got from a beach, like somewhere, not off the beach, but like from a pet shop there. So, said I've also had like aquatic pets too. Now, the average lifespan of a cat, according to the vet, is 15 years, but they can live longer. Hermit crab lived for quite a while. Zoe says, got 2 large plastic storage containers, put a lid on, turn it upside down, line it with heavy blankets, and cut a small doorway so they could get in and out. Oh, oh, that is very ingenious. I like that idea. 2 large plastic storage containers, put lid, turn it upside down, line it with heavy blankets, and cut a small doorway. That's incredible. I like that. So it reminds me when I used the piece of a table thing for an outside cat house. That was really cool. So I appreciate the different stories about it. They love blankets. Yep, new Maine Coon mix lived to 27. Oh, that's very cool, Joe. And 27's a long time. You know, we had a cat back in the early 2000s that was 20 something years old. It was very skinny and frail, but it lived for 20 something years. Early 2000s. So it's probably from the 80s. So it's cool to know a cat that was from that long ago when I was growing up. All right, and Zoe says they have a solid floor and they stay dry even in pouring rain that way. That's good to know. Yeah, that's good to absolutely. Of very cool. I like the different like technical attributes that you put into that. And so it takes a lot of skill to to think of different ideas for pets, and I love the different creative ways that people come up with when taking care of their critters. So it had all these different what you're saying, these different mechanisms in it. When it's raining, they could stay dry, and they had a solid floor, and they could stay warm in the different weather patterns. So yeah, that's always very nice to to have, and I will certainly remember that for my own things that I'll do. I'll keep that in mind as an idea. So the blankets are a key. That is another thing that cats love is the blankets. They love to go in blankets, and you put like a blanket on a field, and they'll just go sit on it. So yeah, they can make themselves nice and cozy. Joe said her name was Mama's. Coolest cat I've ever met. Always calm and very nice to every stranger. Yeah, that is really good to know the personality of the cat. How the cat had that nice way about them. The respect. The respect is always admirable to have. It's always good to have a respectful kitty. Seeing this right there. All right, and Joe says, "Yes, snuggle time is crucial." Haha. Yeah, yeah, definitely. Zoe says, "I would wash the blankets every week. It was really cool to see them cuddle up in their little house." Oh, definitely would appreciate. They appreciate that for sure, definitely. Yeah, and blankets every day, every week, and see them cuddle in their little house. Yeah, so and they like that because a plastic storage container, for instance, is a like a little. It's like a fortress because, especially to a cat, because it's a solid foundation and it's already molded and crafted a certain way to put the animal for the animal to go in there and dwell. And I like that for the cats. So, for instance, there's so many times they napped in there, or they had a good time with each other, or played around there. That is great that they had that. So a lot of times it could be like at first you could think how we're going to do this because there is all this going on with it, rain and giving a cat a shelter, and just it's a really smart idea because it's like the thing is already built and you could make it into something else. So for instance, I speaking of my own experience, something totally irrelevant was that to this topic was I would take two soda cans and Coke cans and a root beer can, and I would attach them a certain way and cut a little hole in it and re-emulate the Titanic sinking. So I just took something that was not just a can and made it into a ship. So taking a storage container and make it into like a fortress for cats is very, very cool. And you can buy the storage containers at Target or Walmart. Oh, thank you for the information. Yeah, you can just buy it anywhere. You don't have to like spend money that doesn't need to be spent. You can just get a simple storage container and make it into something. You know what reminds me of, Zoe? It reminds me of arts and crafts. Like back, growing up, there's lots of arts and crafts they used to do, and I would come in handy in a situation like that. And Zoe says putting the lid on and turning it upside down is the key in keeping them dry. For instance, with the lid on, so the flat part is on the ground, like the the, the part where the lid is on the ground, and the bottom of the container is upside up, and it creates, in my opinion, an arc of the sorts, and the rain would go down and that way over it because it's built with a little bit of like a the bottom part of it. So that certainly is a great idea to keep them warm, and then the bottom part, which is the flat surface, is their ground. So yeah, very good idea, very good idea, and that certainly is the key to it, and makes sense. Joe says, haha, alien. Every cool cat loves boxes, and even tried to climb into ones they couldn't fit. And Zoe says, putting the lid turning upside down. Oh, yeah, we've had cats that are larger cats that would go in a very small box, and they barely fit in, and they were just chilling in the box, and it's kind of funny to watch. And Zoe said, they stay dry, don't have to lay it in the dirt. Oh, very, very good advice. Thank you. Thank you. Yeah, and they were in the dirt, and what I meant to say was you don't have to put it in the dirt, put it on the different areas where it is not there. That's also a good idea, what you just said. So, yeah, and the way that could be continue is just for instance, you could get like multiple boxes and have multiple areas where you could have these type of constructions. I like that, and it'll always will stay dry. As I said, it's like inside like an igloo, so to speak. Because with somebody, they used to make these igloos over in these cold places, and it's like a plastic igloo for a cat. Joe says they're awesome, very precious babes, just like canines. Yeah, definitely. Zoe says, I got the see through ones, the clear storage containers, so they can see if a predator is coming. I agree with you, Joey. Wouldn't be here without them. I agree. And yeah, being here without them, I think is would that be unthinkable? And Zoe was saying about how yeah, because it's good for the cats to see and know if something is coming their way, and they can know to get out and do what they have to do. Because if they can't see, it's like a window. They could have like the entire structure is a window. That is another ingenious thing about it because they could see 360, in my opinion, depending how it was built. So yeah, that's a very good point to get a container that is clear so they can see something going on. And the one that I have, the one in the yard, which is kind of like the metal contraption, that one has two sides that are like opened up. It's not a place where they would necessarily would stay dry, but the roof would keep them dry. But it is a way basically they can uh, know that something's coming. Right, they can say feel safe. They can see. You know what it is? It's also like a. It's another situation where the cat is essentially in a place where it can be like a cave. You know, it's like their own cave, a plastic cave with, but they can see what's going on in it. So we've recently the type of cats that we've had were short-haired cats that weren't fluffy recently. Like right now, they're not fluffy cats except Pearl. Pearl's the fluffy one right now. And with the other ones, the rest are short-haired. Oh, hello, Nan R. The discussion is actually continuing. That is something that is true, Zoe. It would be watertight. Yeah. Now, Nan says, I'm coming in the end of a discussion to add to the cat story. I couldn't find my cat as she hides if anyone is here. I found her in a cabinet. She opened it herself. I saw her doing it again. Aw. Oh, yeah, Dan. That's a very good point. Cats can have all kinds of different hiding places. And Miranda, a couple of months ago, had a problem where there was a cat that was out in the open that she. Not out in the open. It was a cat that was in her house that went missing, and she thought that maybe it escaped somewhere. But she didn't. But eventually she found it in her house. It was just hiding in the sofa. So cats could find all kinds of hiding places. They're like spies. They certainly work for the IMF, the Impossible Mission Unit. Definitely. They get to be hiding in all kinds of areas. So thank you for sharing that with us, Nan. And Joe says, both canine and feline assisted humanity in ways only few have given credence to throughout time. Both help minimize infection and assisted in sustaining when things were rough. I remember yesterday when Bubbles needed some company, I was playing. I think it was the Sementilli scenes, and we're saying rumor has it roasting memes about Baker and the different defendants that were bad from the Tellis trial, not the Tellis trial, the Sementilli trial, and yeah, Bubbles was hanging out with me, and we're watching it, and he likes to mark me with his, it's so cute when he does that. So yeah, that was an interesting scene from yesterday I had with the cat watching a stream. And Mary Toodles was going in the cat room the other day, and Claude came from the ceiling of this carport. There's this carport with a metal roof. It's quite spacious. And the cat came from the top of it. It was kind of like a Thanos snap. Not Thanos. It was kind of like the X-Files theme played. He came from the top like a spy. Oh, hello, Hamilton. Good evening to you. Welcome. For sure, one of my rescue cats has his cloak of invisibility places you'll never find. Yeah, the cats have the cloak of invisibility. Cats are wizards. They are certainly wizards at Hogwarts, and they do have these certain magical skills that us mortals do not possess. And we would, Zoe, so very true, primarily true. And Anne said, I have my cat, a parrot, and who's 35, so Catty knows her forever. They get along well, and it's so cute. Oh, that is so cute, man. So cute. I love parrots. By the way, you let your cat watch Monica Sementilli. Yep. The cat is a trial watcher, and certainly with viewer discretion, cat was listening to that madness indeed. Yeah. Scared. The cat was more interested in rubbing on my face than it was the trial, though. So with the trial, there was, and I was like talking into the text. There's a button you could press on your uh, keyboard on your phone where you could speak into it to make a comment. And so the cat was, I was making the comments, and the cat was like, "What is this human talking about?" The cat was just in bliss, just completely in bliss. Scared, scared. And yeah, and I was, for instance, parrots. Oh, we're gonna go on a rant, everybody. So here we go. What kind of parrot do you have, Nan? If you want to mention it, I'm curious because I my favorite parrot my favorite parrot is the macaw. It just, I saw it when I was at the zoo and I was growing up, and it just thought it was an iconic parrot, and it had so many colors on it, nice and red and different. And also in Pirates of the Caribbean, they had that one. So yeah, that's my favorite parrot. And when my area, there were sightings of green parrots, little green parrots, and that was always nice to see little green parrots. I would see them in the trees. And remember that somebody brought them here as a pet and they got out. Maybe during the hurricane or some other situation. All right, Nan says, "Thank you, Joe. That's very sweet of you. Thank you. Yeah, it should be a ringtone indeed." Yeah. That's so cool, Nan. That is so cool. And I think it is totally intriguing to see how people, the different pets people have. It should be a ringtone indeed. Oh, thank you, Hamilton. I really, that's very sweet of you. I appreciate that. Compliment. And Nan says, "Love that, Joe. I had the best time at the Harry Potter studio in London with my daughter and her kiddos. I'm a witch, my own wand." Oh, that's very interesting, Nan. Very interesting. And something that one of my people were talking about before is the wands, how they're made, and there's some symbolism from where we're talking about like the how the banking system worked, and it originates from the Canaanites, and what they did was the wand is made from the holly tree, and you know what that sounds like? Hollywood, and Hollywood's like a place of magic, and so in a way I'm also like a Timu Hollywood because of my spaceship stuff that I do all over YouTube. I'm like all over YouTube, everywhere. Like I'm on different like shows and stuff. So I have my own wizardry of my own. So with the and they use Hollywood usually for a wand because it had some properties in it or something. So it's very interesting to about yeah. So Harry Potter, I love that show, that movie. I watched it growing up. I also like reading the books. I'm reading one of the books again. Haven't read in a very long time. The Half Blood Prince. I read a couple of them. Yeah. So, but of course, I'm mostly doing things online and doing like things outside. So that's why I don't always read books a lot. I'm always reading online and listening to audiobooks or watching a trial. So, but I do when I have a moment, I'll read a few pages or so as time goes on. Oh yeah, so you're welcome, Dan. And then when the Canaanites came into Europe at some point, because really the European migration, people were in like northern parts of Asia, and then they migrated into the rest of Europe because Europe was originally inhabited by nobody. Thousands of years ago, they migrated into Europe, and there's a right pronunciation. The Druids were these magicians like Merlin. Was something we talk about on the channel sometimes, not recently, but we talk about periodically is about Merlin and King Arthur. Sarah liked talking about that too, and Merlin was like a druid. A druid. He was like a druid, and but with Merlin, he was that the story about that one in the legend. His father was a demon, a fallen angel type figure, and his mother was a Christian, and well, back then everybody was Catholic. So, and then he chose to be Christian, Catholic, and use his skills for his magical skills for good, because he had magical abilities from his father. So yeah, that's where a lot of that stuff comes from. The Druids. It's very interesting stuff to study. The Black Widow also loved the harbor of the holly trees. Oh, thank you. Yes, Joe. Yes, absolutely. Oh, synchronicity, Nan. Synchronicity. Right there. I believe in synchronicities where you have, like nothing is a coincidence, that everything happens for a reason, and there's different synchronicities that occur. So that is interesting to know. And Joe says Eastern Europe looked much different than today. Oh yeah, yeah, that is true. And okay, look at you check the chat of that. Oh, I love that. Yeah. So with parrots, I think that they're really cool how they could talk, and there's thoughts that parrots didn't know what they were saying. One of my friends and I are debating about this, and we were disputing if parrots know what they're saying, but there is evidence to show that they kind of know what they're saying. And I would think they would to some extent. And oh, there's a crazy story that happened. Speaking of trials and true crime, yay, Moki. Speaking of trials and true crime, there is this story that happened where there's a murder that took place, and the person got away with it. But you know what? There is a little buddy listening. So there is a parrot, and the parrot kept on talking, and the parrot knew everything that was being said by the villain in the story that was doing the murder. And they couldn't bring a parrot in to testify, obviously. That was like, they couldn't bring the parrot on the stand. Like, imagine like a trial and you have a parrot on the stand. And that'll be some wild stuff. So they recorded it and used it as evidence. But yeah, so the parrot like saw everything and was like talking about what it was hearing. It was repeating all the words. So the parrot must have certainly been traumatized by what it was like witnessing, and was like repeating the words it was hearing. So as I said, even the birds, even the other critters are viable assets. Now with the owls, speaking of Harry Potter, there's the owls. So with the owls, they Harry Potter has them. Oh, and Moki says hello to everybody she hasn't said hello to. There's owls where I live, for instance, like wild owls in the trees. And Nan says my parrot knows what is happening. She parrots my voice and laughs, but knows if I'm not well or if I'm lonely or if she's lonely. Yeah, definitely, because I do believe that animals have these type of feelings, intuitions. It's not like a robot or a puppet. It's like it's something that really feels these things, and it's there. Zoe says, if you talk to Erin, tell her I'm sorry about her dog. It's heartbreaking. Yeah. And Milky said, my cat finally peed and been wanting and watching for him do that all day. Well, Milky, I'm glad to know that happened. All right. I want to shout out to Milky. She's done so much and helped us out a lot. And shout out to all of you that are here hanging out with me and talking about these different topics. I appreciate you all and those that are lurking and listening. Thank you all for being here. So there is this. That's exactly what my theory was about the parrots, and they are all over. For instance, people have different pets of the parrots, and it sounds like a nice home you have, Nan, of the different. You have a parrot, you have some cats. It's a nice scene. There is this parrot movie from the '90s that I used to watch before my time on being streaming on YouTube. Before I went on different live streams, and it was funny. It was the parrot was very active. It was like a white parrot with some hair on its head, with some like feathers on its head, like a mohawk. It was like took place in like the western states, like Arizona or something like that. It was, and there's like a trailer, like an RV. That was a funny movie. Yeah, right on, Zoe, right on. So with the owls, so I'll hear them, especially in spring. I'll hear them, and in spring there was this hooting they'll make. And spring's weather is so nice. It's like it's very cool, but it's kind of getting warm. It's just an addicting feeling. And I would hear the owls and the spring. And there is this tree. I can't believe I can't place the name off the top of my head right now. And it's this beautiful purple flowers, and it's like a vine. And at the moment, I know the name, but I can't place it at the moment. And those would start to blossom, and I would love to make perfume or a cologne out of them. It's just such a fragrance, a beautiful fragrance. My grandma had a perfume shop. I don't really know what type of owl it is, Joe. I saw it a couple of times, and I'll tell you what it looks like. The owls are white. And I recently seen the owl up close. It was a breathtaking sight. I was outside at night, and I saw it fly over me a couple of times. I saw it really close. It was this white owl, and like Harry Potter, and it flew over and was looking at me. It was kind of moving its head back and forth, and so it's a white owl. I don't know much about the owl though. And one night I saw a very big bird come very close to the trees where I was, and I didn't really know what it was, but it may have been one of the owls. Oh, thank you, Nan. Yes, yes, Moki. Just like, just like that. Yes. Oh, Casimirio, my buddy. It's been about a minute. I hope you're doing well. Thank you for coming in here and telling us hello. Appreciate you, man. And let's see, the that is one of my favorite owls, certainly. Okay, we'll find out right now. Let's do this. Go here. Listeria is a bacterium that can cause a serious food-borne illness called listeriosis, while rare listeriosis is particularly dangerous for pregnant people, newborns, older adults, and individuals with weakness immune systems like most bacteria. Listeria monocytensis. True. Monocytengenes can survive and even grow in cold temperatures, including inside refrigerators, making it proper for food handling and awareness critical. Oh, okay. Wisteria. It's called Wisteria, I think. Thank you, chat. Yeah, and definitely Moki. It's a lot like Hedwig, the owl that I saw. Yes. Yes, the tree that I'm referring to is wisteria. Yes. Yeah, Moki, very brilliant. And I'll show you all what I'm talking about here. And look, there's two of me. Isn't that interesting? Because the camera wasn't working before, so there's two of me. Interesting. Okay. So, going here. Scared. Yeah, this is the wisteria. Now, yeah, this is the tree. And what it is, it's like a vine that grows on the carport. And it's beautiful fragrance to it. But that's the whole tree. I've never seen the full tree like that before because usually we've seen it in a vine form. So that's very cool. Chinese wisteria bloom. It looks like an Asian plant. Blooms for one shallow but shorter flowering period. The species is known for aggressive invasives in some parts of the United States. Japanese wisteria features long flower clusters of open gradually from the two tip, creating a more drawn out display. It is also an aggressive and invasive species with many regions. Wisteria, the less aggressive and non-invasive native option. And let's see, is there cologne or perfume with it? Oki says, I can't believe I pulled that out of my trunk. Scared. It's like Mary Poppins pulling out a bunch of stuff out of the bag. Very good. That's why we have you here. It's very essential because I could not think of it. My Timu brain fog was sheening my judgment. Made from the flower. Yeah, pull it right out of the peaches. All right, yes. There are several perfumes and colognes that feature the wisteria flower. Wisteria has delicate and sweet floral scents and sometimes compared to a mix of honeysuckle and lilac. Oh, interesting. It's quite, some of it's kind of pricey. Okay. Interesting. Yeah, that would be certainly a great fragrance. Chinese. Now there's a tree that I have in my yard that is very nice autumn flowers, nice autumn leaves, all autumn colors. And a lot of people say where I am, they do not have regular fall colored trees that they only turn brown, but because of the climate. But that's actually not true because my tree always has fall colors, and for years and years. And I think that and that's how I knew because when it was a baby tree, it would be red and orange and yellow, a couple different colors. And it was a Chinese tallow tree, and I learned that Katrina spread the seeds everywhere. So something great came out of something terrible. So it's a very beautiful tree, and I knew it was a special type of tree. So Benjamin Franklin himself went to China and brought it over here. So that's how the tree in my yard came here. because he brought them to the colonies in the 1700s because he liked the ornamental purposes. But they later became used. Their seeds were used for oil. They could be now. It's a toxic to be used for consumption, but it was used for oil plantations up around the country, up north in different places, and it was used for the soap stuff like that, but in candles. But as I said, it was a little bit of a toxic seed to consume, of course. But yeah, that was interesting to know. I didn't know it was used for all that, but I had this knack for looking at the plants, and I could tell they were used for something. Because some plants, you'll see they're just like a weed growing aside the road. It's like something goofy, but these other things were used for something specific. So I was like, another thing that I got right that was used for that. Oh, and Bubbles was liking the cat conversations, and he's looking at me now. All right. No, there's no perfume or cologne made directly from the flower of the Chinese tallow tree, but the tree itself is invasive and toxic. And while its flowers are sweet smelling, the attract bees perfumes do not use them, creating the fragrance. The fragrance Chinese perfume tree. This is a different plant that is known for extreme pleasant and mild fragrance. The tallow-based fragrances. The tallow sometimes refers to the solid perfumes made with animal fat and beeswax, but this is a carrier and not derived from the Chinese tallow tree fragrances. With fat derivatives, the fat from the seeds of the Chinese tallow has been historically used to make soap and candles, but not fine fragrances of the seeds and leaves. Okay. Now, so yeah, the wisteria is what we use. So with the owls in the trees, I would hear them, and then what I would do next is I would, as I said, I saw them a couple of times. Yeah, so I would in the springtime, I would hear them and see owls. So yes, owls is one of the birds that we have around here. Nan says, I've got to run and relax with Merlin. I love one with Colin Morgan. Thanks for the company. Oh, Nan, good night to you. Thank you for coming here and hanging out with us. And you take care. Thank you for the suggestion. All right. Yeah, so another another one that we have down here is the the hawks. I'll see them in the sky, kind of like the Old West. You'll see them circling around, and there might even be some buzzards. But I've never really seen buzzards. I've seen the hawks. Makes me feel like I'm out west, about out west. That's one of the other drops. The stuffed animal says that they went west. I'm scared. And that is another thing that was interesting in other birds, another type of bird that we've seen. And there's the cardinal. That's another nice bird that we have here. So there's lots of interesting critters around here in this little area that we have. And I'm sure some of you have seen some interesting birds. I've seen some. I think I've seen an eagle before, a few times. Oh, vultures are very cool. When Moki, when I was, especially in Mississippi, back when I was in Mississippi during Katrina, I was at this old timey like a thrift store, I guess. And of course, this is the early 2000s, so it was closer to the past decades before it than it would be. I'm sure that place looks the same now if I went to it, if it's still open, but it was closer to that the previous decades than we are right now. So, but yeah, it was. I went in there, and I'd say it looked kind of like 70s, 80s looking, and judging by what I know now, but back then I wouldn't have known that. I wouldn't even really have known much about those time periods at that age, but very cool stuff in there, and it's a more of like a country type setting, so there's different things in there than there would be in other places. There's no electronics, there was no iPhones or anything like that. It was just like books and coloring books and things of that nature. And there is this interesting thing that I saw that was still marvels me to this day, where it has to do with buzzards, by the way, the vultures. And I saw this face, like a smile and eyes and a nose, and you could put it on a tree. And I was like, what on earth? That's so cool. Which that's something I need to get for the tree in the yard at some point. So yeah, that was a decoration I never thought of. That was interesting to see. But the other one that I saw was the I saw a vulture stuffed animal, and I was so fascinated with it. I still have it in one of the other room, and I have like a fixation on things. Like I'll get fixated on something, and I will learn everything about it. It's how my mind works. And yeah, I thought the vultures were interesting. I would see in Bugs Bunny or the cartoons, and it was so cool to have one. And I even made like a poster for it. I can, and it seemed like Old West vibes to it. So that was an interesting story because it's a cute stuffed animal. So the stuffed animals, as I said, probably decade. It was like a decade or two before '05 it was made. Definitely, it was very nice, very well made. It wasn't like the Timu. It wasn't from Timu. It, definitely, and yeah, it was. That was one of the coolest stuffed animals I used to kind of use it as an action figure. Yeah, and then when I would learn about them as time would go on, of course, I think out west they're more prevalent than they are here. Like their head is completely like shaven off, and they have this white, or stereotypically have like a white uh, vest on them, and they have the rest of them is black. Yeah, I think they're very interesting. And something about the Chinese tallow, the solid waxy fat surrounds the outside of the seeds as long history use is candles. The wax is used to make candles, soap, due to the fat content. It is key ingredient in soap production. Cosmetics. The wax can be used for some cosmetics. Historically, has been used as a substitute for animal tallow and sometimes the lard or coconut butter, though its use is debated as, you know, used in some situations in the past. And I never knew that the tree that I have was used to make soaps and stuff. So I guess like back in the past, I could have just harvested them and sold them off to be used for different things. Interesting how this land could be used for so many things. All right, and I'll show chat what the vultures look like because there's so many cartoons of them. So quite interesting. Okay, so vulture here. All right, and these are some vultures right here. Yeah, I said very cool, very cool. Yeah, he's just a chilling in his tree, and then you got a vulture meeting right there. They're making their decisions. All right, because as I said, like there's so many cartoons that have these things. Yeah, yeah, definitely. Scared. Yeah, they are really big. He's looked like he's been through a thing or two. Definitely. Yeah, he means business. Yeah, I like as I said, just like the cartoons, and that's what the stuffed animal that I have is very cartoonish looking, and that one is based off of that. Yeah, so definitely, yeah, very big. You see, look at the wingspan. Like, for instance, on the wingspan of these magnificent creatures, they are spread out so far and wide, very big. Now that's a turkey vulture right there. Another fun fact about parrots and different birds. Like I learned from there is somebody that I know for a couple of years that does farming, and she originated from Kentucky, and she's in Georgia, and I learned a lot about like farming stuff. So like with birds, any type of bird, like you could get like an incubator and you could like hatch them in like a nursery, and like even like parrots or any kind of bird that you know could hatch those birds. So that is something very fascinating that I learned about that stuff during the farming, that you could just kind of like in a way grow them in an incubator and then hatch them. So the different birds. Now, you know what a really big bird is? An ostrich. An ostrich egg is really big. You know, ostriches are huge. They're like dinosaurs, pretty much. No pun intended. Yeah. So, yeah, definitely very big wingspan. And that one's an interesting color. Oh, look at this one's eyes. It's crazy. That's just like the cartoons. Just like the cartoons. I like that. Okay. So, one thing that we're going to try to figure out is, let's see, a white. And thank you, Joe, for your take on what he thinks that the owl could be. Could be a barren owl. Okay, thank you. I don't know about a Pachytoli scent. I've never heard of that before, so I can't accurately tell you what that is about. But yeah, that. Yes, yes, that's the owl, right there. That shout out to Joe if he's here or not. Brilliant, genius. That's the owl that I see in the at night. Well done, well done. I would have never have known what in a billion years what that name of that owl would be. In a billion years, I never would have figured that out. Thank you, Joe. Yeah, but the Pachytoli scent, I've smelled that before. Yes. Yeah. Whew. Well, I'm glad we know. My grandpa, when he was my age or younger, back in the 50s and 60s, he saw one go right by his window, and he didn't know what it was called either. And I see the same birds that he saw when he was growing up in the same place. Now he moved to different parts of the city. This region where I am is where his parents lived, and this house I'm in was where his best friend lived, and he bought it after he passed away. So yeah, the same species of bird has been here probably for thousands of years. I say probably before we were here, before the colonialism happened. So yeah, I uh, definitely the same bird is being seen. 60, 70 years later. Wow, the same type of species. Same ones from Close Encounters. Yeah, Joe, thank you so much, buddy. That big help. As I said, that's why I love a team of people working together, because we all have different ideas. Because as I said, I don't know everything at all. That's why I have y'all here. And yeah, that's the bird. I remember seeing its face while it was flying over. It was looking at me and moving its head. It's like, oh look, there's alien spaceship. Yeah, it's a beautiful, majestic bird indeed. Yeah, and you see, just like that, that's how bro was looking at me. He was like looking. It's like, oh, there's an alien spaceship right there. Yeah, so they're so cute. Good evening, Liberty. Welcome to the stream. We are talking about pets in the beginning. We were talking about pet stories, and some people have lost. Like Erin had to put her dog down that was having strokes. So, and we were talking about the different stories and being there for each other. and I was talking about my experience of pets and wildlife where I am, and I even talk about vultures too. That another bird I think is fascinating that Moki and I think are fascinating. So the bird that you see on the screen is the type of owl that I have in my region, the barn owl. As I said, the faces look like apples, and yes, they look like apples. Oh, thank you, Liberty. That's very sweet for the condolences. Yeah, and a look at this one. It looks like bro's running. I don't know if that's real or not, but that's the bro running. I'm scared. Oh look, it's got right. This dude. Oh hello, Doe. Good evening to you. Welcome to the stream. Now, shout out to all of you being here and coming in. I appreciate everybody. Hello, Doe Bordy. We are talking about pets and different things in wildlife and nature. And this is a bird that I have in my region where I see sometimes. And I'm going to go down. I will proceed to go down a rabbit hole of what this bird is about exactly. Like we're gonna, what's going on here? So, all right. The barn owl is naturally pale owl with distinctive white heart-shaped face. In many cases, their underparts, chest and belly, are ghostly white, with their back wings being mixed of tawny gray and golden brown. This makes their appear almost entirely white when seen hunting in low light. All right, Joe said 77 film Close Encounters, the third kind. Oh, thank you. I didn't know that. Okay, that was in there. Oh yeah, very cute face. Okay, and the coloration, the underside is also pure white, feathersome, head black, back are molted mix of colors, which include varying shades of gray, buff, golden, brown, and females typically have more spots, a darker plunge on their chests than males. Oh yes, and Doe, I believe that the right moment one day that you will have an owl sighting to capture. Face, the most distinguished features of the barn owl is its heart-shaped white facial disc, which helps funnel sound to its ears. Yeah. Scared. Alien spaceships making owl noises. Yeah, that's another thing that I do. Like it was like a pigeon noise, and then I. It's also like an owl too. All right. Anyway, so they are medium-sized owls with a wingspan of. Thanks though. They are the owl sounds. They I love the noises they make in the trees. They are medium-sized owls with a wingspan up to 4 feet. Who are you? Oh no, I'm going to say that again correctly. Who are you? Who? Nice. Oh, thank you, Moki. They are medium-sized owls, wingspan up to 4 feet. Other features: barn owls have long, sparsely feathered legs and a short tail. All right, the moonlight hunting. Researchers found that voles, a primary prey of barn owl, froze longer when threatened by a white owl Conditions simulating a full moon. Ah, yes, I'll do that definitely. Hunting advantage. The extra time provide to be significant hunting advantage for the white owls, suggesting that moonlight is a factor in evolution of their color. Doe says, "This is how my owl impression sounds." Yes. And shout out to the Bluebird. I like Twitter. And Moki said, "What does Caravel think of the shooting trial?" Yeah, earlier, him and I talked about that, and and he could give his take on it to Moki. And let's see. Oh, Liberty says she has a barn cat. Oh, nice, nice. All right, let's see what the skull looks like of one of these critters. Scared. All right. Okay. Now, yeah, I have what Caravel said about referring to the Daisy trial, the one where the woman shot the defendant shot the guy. This was his remarks to me earlier about it. He pistol whipped her nearly to death, and she had to go to the hospital so that all that is documented. He then shows up next day or day after that, uninvited, and started a fight, and she shot him in the leg. And Kerville said, "So it was self-defense, as he had no reason to be there, and she was making plans to leave the state. And if she was trying to end him, she wouldn't aim for the leg." So that was his position on it. If he didn't, he probably already said something, but yeah. So that was his position on Daisy Link. Yeah, that is weird indeed. It reminds me of that gothic, Victorian type style. I'm thinking about the industrial thing where they have like those eye pieces. Yeah, okay, you're welcome, Careful. Yeah, so that was his position on it. I'll even copy and paste it too. How about that? I'll copy and paste it. Let's go right here. This is what Careville said. I'll put it in writing too, because I say a lot of information. Okay. All right, these are Careville's statements. All right, so Moki, I copied and pasted. That was what Careville said to me earlier. What his position on the Daisy Link trial. All right, yeah. So definitely very weird looking indeed. Yeah. Scared. Scared. Okay, and going this way to the bird. Okay, habits. Barn owls inhabit a wide range of open or semi open habitats, including grasslands, deserts, agricultural fields, and urban areas. Roosting, as their name suggests, they often nest in roosts in their human made structures like barns, abandoned buildings, and church steeples, but also in tree hollows, caves, and cliff crevices. Call instead of hooting, they are known for their distinct eerie shriek. Interesting. All right. Why is it okay? Tell more of the study of moonlight. Oh, you're welcome, Moki. And very good points, Careville. Thank you for explaining it to us. All right. Published in 19, investigating how the moon affected the hunting success of barn owls, which vary in color from white to reddish brown. Researchers found that while a white owl is more visible in bright moonlight, this actually gives it a hunting advantage. This is because the owl exploits a natural sensory aversion that is primarily prey. The common vole has too bright of a light. Field observation. The team analyzed that 2 decades of data from barn owl population in western Switzerland. They observed that on moonlit nights, the reddish brown owls were less successful at hunting and providing food for their offspring compared to white owls. GPS tracking. Using GPS trackers on male owls, they confirmed that the reddish owls had lower hunting success at night with more moonlight, in contrast with whitest owls were not negatively affected by the moon's brightness. Right? Why are they called? Oh, their ghostly advantage. Study has surprisingly concludes that moonlight reflects off the white owls. Their hearing is bare none. Okay, thank you, Joe. And also, Carville, that is. Oh, hello, Frog. Good to see you, buddy. We're doing well. Thank you for hanging out, stopping by or hanging out with us. Yeah, that is unfortunate that that happens, Carville. That women are lost from that. Okay. Thank you, Joe, for information. So, white owl's feathers are stark contrast with the vowels, and it causes them to freeze as if ghosts were approaching. This deer in headlights effect gives the white owls the critical extra 5 seconds to make successful deletion kills. Yeah, it was shocking to me that, like, the eagles cannot see well at night, but they can hear stuff like miles away. Oh, careful! That's a very good point. You think that they would be able to do both, but yes, certain. The Polar Express had a scene about that. Spoiler alert. Okay, spoiler alert. Where there was the eagles doing something, and they dropped something, and it rolled and it became a big snowball. So yeah, I believe it was an eagle, and if I recall correctly, and yeah, so that would make sense because the eagles at night aren't really as great as they are during the day, but they can hear stuff from a mile away. That's why I'm saying everything has their strengths and weaknesses, and that's why everything working together is good for the common good. So thank you for your take on this. Careful. It's not sonar, but better. And in my opinion, I believe God created these amazing creatures to be even better than our own technology is incredible. Hilarious, Smokey. Hilarious. Let's see. All right, Joe says asymmetrical ear openings, prominent facial disc, which funnel sound to their ears and allow them to pinpoint prey local with extreme precision. I think that sounds like Polar Express, but I understand you're referring to another movie, and I will we'll see what that is exactly. That is Snowpiercer. 2013. That seems to be the movie. So an option that came up is Snowpiercer, a 2013 sci-fi film directed by Bong Joon-ho. Failed climate change experiment plunges the world into an ice age, and then remaining the survivors are on board. Oh, you're welcome, Liberty. Ah, yes, the Atlas 3i1. Okay, we will update about that right now. So, let's see, go this. And yeah, here we go. We're about to go into the update about that. Update. Yes, their face directs sound toward their ears, which purposely lowers their other on the other side. Liberty, what about Halloween? I was curious. Oh, okay. So the recent updates on the interstellar comet 3I Atlas shows that it is on its final approach toward the sun, having just made its closest pass by Mars. The comet was observed from afar by multiple spacecraft, and its closest approach to the sun will occur on October 29 to 30. So not on Halloween, but really close to like a day before Halloween. Oh, AI Atlas by mistake. Yeah, so answer your question, Liberty. On the 29th to 30th, it'll be uh, closest approach will be on October 29 to 30, but it's not on Halloween. It'll be like a day later. So yeah, around the time of Halloween. Moki, it may be. It may be very true. Passed by Mars. On October 3/25, 3I Atlas passed within approximately 18 million miles of Mars. Mars orbiters observed comet several spacecraft orbiting Mars, including the European Space Agency, ExoMars, and Trace Gas Orbiter captured images of the comet. The observation was challenging because the comet is thousands of times fainter than Mars' surface, but scientists successfully captured fuzzy images of the comet and nucleus, visible from Earth. The comet was visible with amateur telescopes and binoculars through September, but it has since moved too close to the sun from Earth's perspective to be observed. I think it comes again in December. Yes, yes, that's what I heard too. We'll check to make sure, but that was like the end of this year. Loki says I watched Snowpiercer TV show with Jennifer Connolly. Oh, very cool, Loki. Origin and age. Recent analysts of the comet's trajectory suggest it came from the thick disk of the Milky Way, a region of old stars. This indicates that 3I Atlas could be over 7 billion years old. Closest approach to the sun. 3I Atlas will reach its closest point. Loki says I need a new tinfoil hat. Oh, the spaceship has an abundance of them. So we'll take care of that for you. Research reach its closest point to the sun on or around October 29, 25. It will be within Mars orbit at a distance of about 1.4 astronomical units from the sun. Observations by JUICE spacecraft. The ESA's Jupiter Icy Moons explorer JUICE will observe the comet from November to the 25, capturing data from the Perhelion Pass. Reappearing from behind. the sun after perihelion, the comet will reappear from behind the sun in early December 25, becoming visible again to ground based observers. Oh, that's very cool, Liberty. She says, "Hey, tinfoil head wraps have helped my ear ringing before." Oh, that's very awesome. Facts. Yeah, my buddy that I talk about aliens with, he was telling me that the the tinfoil hats help deflect different radiations and stuff like that, and that are around, and he would wear it sometimes. Joe said, "Yes, there's a night vision is excellent, but when your ears can hear as sensitive as theirs and are offset from one another, it creates an ability to heat sink, allowing visuals for minor adjustments." Oh yeah, Joe, and something interesting about that is it's almost like that is better than having the ears, or even better in a way, because it makes up for whatever they're lacking from the other way, the other ear, from the eyes. Thank you, Liberty, for mentioning that. Yeah, so come December 25, and then on March 26th, it'll cross Jupiter's orbit back into deep interstellar space. Now, I'll tell you this, Moki. I saw something recently about that, and there's orbs surrounding that the 3i Atlas. Now, I'll talk about like a third eye. Oh, yes, Joe, very, very smart. Like a third eye indeed, yes. Yes. Argument for alleged ET origins. It can be hear movement underneath the ground. Both subjects apply. Okay. Now, arguments for alleged ET origin from Loeb. Orbital trajectory. In July 25, Loeb and his team published a paper suggesting that the 3i Atlas trajectory, which brings its unusually close to Venus, Mars, or Jupiter, might be intentional. They argue that the low retrograde tilt could allow it to make an astrometric measurements of our solar system. Oh, solar system. Yeah, and Joe was referring to what the owls or and the eagles are able to hear. That's what he was referring to. Omoki wants to know if he has an owl tattoo. Optimal maneuvering. Loeb also noted that the comet's perihelion close point to the sun occurs when it's on the opposite side of the sun from Earth. He speculated that this could be reverse solar Orbereth maneuver used to slow down the object. Oh, that's interesting, Joe. Interesting. Joe, do you hear owls where you are too? Out of curiosity. The wow signal. And October 25. Well, scars. Oh, interesting. Scars. Yeah, and scars mean that you're still here and it wasn't able to take you out. The wow signal. On October 25, Loeb connected the comet to a famous wow signal, a strong radio signal detected in 77. He pointed out to the signal's direction was only about 9 degrees from the direction 3i Atlas entered the solar system, and so suggested this could be deliberated transmission. Oh, that's cool, Moki. That's awesome. Shout out to Mary Toodles.
Hi.
I figured out what the owls around here are called.
Oh, okay.
Barn owls.
Oh, okay.
Size and mass. Oh, the team helped us figure it out. Size and mass. Loeb suggested that the comet's brightness implies unusual large objects for the interstellar comet, possibly larger than initial estimations. He connected that its slight non-gravitational acceleration he attributed to potential technology. Okay, Liberty, thank you for hanging out with us. Take care. All right, Joe says, yes, we have barred, not barn, owl in my backyard for almost a decade. Found one of their feathers today walking the pup today. Oh, that's so cool. Loeb's controversial history. Loeb previously made similar claims about the first interstellar object. It was debunked, but I believe it was probably still an alien thing. No propulsion, radio signals. So some people believe it's not true what he's saying, but there's a possibility that they might be of extraterrestrial origin. All right, that's the vulture, and let's see where the vulture is at. Let's see what range it's from. And also, I'll be playing the game again in certain points of the stream. By the way, I remember we were talking about that yesterday, and something else that we'll be doing at points of the streams coming up, and our vultures in, let's see, vultures in Louisiana. Okay, Moki. See you tomorrow. Thank you for hanging out with us. All right. Yes, two species of vultures are found in Louisiana: the black vulture and the turkey vulture. They are both permanent residents in the state and can be seen in areas including rural and populated areas. They have snotty black plunge and bare backs and a shorter tail compared to the turkey vulture behavior. They typically watch the lower flying turkey vultures to find food as their shelter groups. Behavior. They typically watch the lower flying turkey vultures to find food as their sense of smell is not as keen and often as their groups and other groups. Yeah, Knights of the OGs, facts. Okay, the also okay. Joe says gray feather with white stripes, hook swoops on one side toward the feather vein. Appearance: this species is a large, long-winged bird with brownish-black plunge and distinctive red unfeathered head and ivory bill. Behavior: the turkey vulture has keen sense of smell in which it is uses to locate carcasses from high in the air. It is also very widespread in species throughout the Americas. All right. So those are two vultures in my state. And are they all over the United States? Oh, shout the bubbles. The barred owl, round-headed owl in North America. Okay, thank you, thank you. Oh, the barred owl looks so cute. Aw, it's so cute. We probably have those here too. Look at these cuties. That's like the cutest face ever. Yeah, so shout out to the barred owl. If I'm saying it right, maybe I'm not saying it right. Okay. And vultures are not found uniformly across the entire United States, but their range is widespread and includes most of the country. The specific distribution depends on the species, while the turkey vulture is found throughout most of the contiguous U.S., southern Canada, and the black vulture is more common in the eastern and southern states and is expanding its range northward. There is also a small critically endangered population of California and Southwest. Okay, Zoe, thank you for being with us tonight, and good night to you. Take care. Thank you for being with us. All right. Yeah, owls are basically flying cats. Yes, that's a very good point. One thing I want to know is why is it called a barn owl? Barn owls get their name from their frequent habit of nesting and roosting in barns, as well as other man made structures like silos, church steeples, and abandoned buildings. Their close association with human built farm structures led to their common name. Yeah, and the reason is because they have a habit of nesting and roosting in barns and man made structures like chapels and church steeples, and abandoned buildings. Though they can also be found nesting in natural cavities like hollow trees, caves, and rocks. Yes, alien encountered a barn owl. That's true. Thank you for distinguishing the difference. Natural cavities like the hollow trees, caves, and rocks, crevices, barns are similar buildings, provide they protected the dry environment that owls find suitable for raising their young. The historical name of the barn includes ghost owl due to their silent, ghostly white appearance, flight at night, church owl because they often nest in church towers and steeples. Screech owls are referred to their eerie, drawn out screech calls when they're unlike the typical hoot associated with their owls. Carol says, we have brown owls here which burrow in the ground and they are protected. That is cool. Let's see, owls that burrow in the ground. You have the burrowing owl. Let's see. Oh, Zoe, I'm glad that you enjoyed the stream. Thank you. Yes, yes, very impressive indeed. I agree. All right, there's the burrowing owl. Scared. Okay. And very cool. Thank you for telling us about that. Very impressive. Um. Okay, that must have been it right there. Urban adaptations. Burrowing owls have adapted to living urban agricultural areas, nesting in places like golf courses, pastures, and airports, and vacant lots. I think I read that. And rattlesnake mimicry. When threatened inside their burrows, young burrowing owls will make a sound that mimics the hiss and rattles the snake, ward off predators. Yes, thankfully they aren't 7 feet tall. Definitely. All right. Scientists believe this may attract dung beetles and other insects for food and help control the burrow's microclimate. All right. I'm going to show you all. We're about to be, as this final part of the stream, I'm going to show you all the game that I would play, which I'll be playing more often. There we go. And we're going to put this in correctly. There we go. So I'm going to show you all this interesting game that I have played. We're going to go to this window where it will come up. And yeah, so yeah, those are some facts about the wildlife and that we have around here and different experiences we have with the different critters we've all had. That was pretty cool. Because, you know, as I said, I think that they're just incredible creatures. I remember there was a time where in science class we went through owl feces and found all kinds of bones and stuff in there. It was interesting to look into. Ironically, it was interesting to look into for some reason. Ooh, that's loud. All right, and we'll talk about this while we do the game, of course. We'll still talk about this. All right, this is my pirate. All right, and kind of lower this a little bit. Let's go here. Yeah, and very smart dual process ploy to warn and attract food. Yeah, and as I said, they're very smart how they're able to adapt and do these different things in their environments. And I think that with the owls, they are extremely how they can mimic snakes. They can do all these different things to get their prey. I do think that they are quite intelligent. It also has like a dual purpose. You know, how it can be used for both. So it's a very creative creature, and I think that it is important to see these type of parallels between the birds and what they're capable of doing. And as I said, their feces that we're looking at in the science class, they had, as I said, tons of. One of the people found like a skull, a little skull in there, so they could. That, as I said, as strange as it sounds, was interesting to look into. I like how owls can turn their heads completely around. That's also very cool. All right, this is a ship that has been hit before, and we're going to continue to attack it.
Turn him into fish food.
All right. And all right, so this is the pirate ship. This is a sloop, a type of ship that Blackbeard originally used in the beginning. And that is a big Navy ship right here. Right? So this is the pirate in my game, and now we're firing.
Used to be a pirate ship. Time to start plundering.
We're firing at the East India ship. And be careful and stuff as we do it. On some of these islands, there seems to be some owls and hooting that I'll hear. Alright, and we're being patient as we battle this specific ship. I'm sure there's different types of owl species in my region. I'm sure there's all kinds of different ones.
Plunder those ships.
And there's eagles and vultures, and hawks is the ones I see the most. But sometimes the hawks and the vultures are probably kind of similar from some point of view. So to distinguish it might be a little bit tricky at times. Okay. Curious about this ship that's just lurking in the water. It's one of the pirate ships, but I'm just like, what does the sails look like? Let's go this way. The Fortune Thief. Alright, well, it looks like the closest ship to hit is right there. So we're going to go hit that way. Hard. Okay, so going this way. And this is the Behemoth. Oh, it looks like Sam's on board with me. That's cool. Sam's a user that plays the game with me. And it looks like he's on board. Yeah, that's awesome. Okay, and let's go out here to these other ships. Alright, looks like the Kraken has been vanquished. I'm glad they finally added the Kraken to this game. I don't even know how to exactly access that level, but I have heard of it before, that they've added it to the game. And as I said, they've added rain to the game too. Element of surprise here.
Turn him into fish food.
We sink this ship. Okay. Now we will hit this other one out here. Oh, very good. As we, with the, let's see, it's, all right, good. All right, we got the advantage here.
To Davy Jones's locker with you.
Okay. Let's go out this other direction. Oh, Primal, I'm very saddened to hear about that. Condolences for the loss. And it's good to see you, by the way. Primal says, hey, Alien, me and my girlfriend came back from the doctors earlier, and we sadly had a miscarriage. I said, I'm very saddened to hear about that. Thank you for giving us the update about it, and we are here for you. Thank you for letting us know. Yeah, and you know, things like that happens. I know prayers and thoughts for both.
Turn him into fish food.
But I believe that you will have a successful one in the future, if you all want one. So, yeah, eventually the dots will connect in the future and things get better.
Keep at it. There'll be loot aboard those ships.
You know, because a lot of times, like, you'll have this unexpected curveball that will be thrown at you, and then later on, when there's victory, it'll feel even better. You're welcome, Prime. Alright. It's been a little...
To Davy Jones's locker with you all.
It's been a little while since we've done the game. I seem to be doing pretty well with it, like I did before. Alright, so... going this way and firing at the ship like that. And besides all that, I hope that everything else is going okay. And
Turn him into fish food.
alright, so attack this. Yeah, Primal, go be there for her. It's very noble of you.
They're on alert. They're trying to
Have a good
protect
night, buddy.
their treasure.
Both you. Praying for
Sink
both
those
of you.
ships
Okay,
and
take
claim
care.
what's ours. We sunk her, Captain.
Alright. Okay, we're going to attack this other one right here. Well, hello, Todd. Good evening to you, buddy. Thank you for being here. Tell me hello. Alright. This is my pirate game that I play. Okay, let's go this way. Okay, continue in this direction. And face it head on that way.
To Davy Jones's locker with you all.
Haha.
Keep at it.
How's for
Let
ya?
me loot aboard those ships.
Okay, and shot the Sam playing the game with me. Okay, it's going to do a hard turn in this direction. Alright, alrighty. Now we're going to be hitting this ship right here. Yes, yes, that is true, Joe. That is true. Queen Anne's revenge has been seen. Yeah, facts. Facts. Arg. Pirate's life for me. Okay.
The Navy's put a bounty on us, and those hunters are coming to collect. Let's give them what for.
Alright, bounty hunters are
We
coming.
sunk her, Captain.
Okay, now we have to just...
Take what you can. Give nothing back.
Bounty hunters are coming, so we're going to go prepare for this. Going out to this way. Ah, nice. Nice. Right out, right where we are. That's good. Perfect. Okay, so now we're going to get into this death match with this other one right here. We're going to do some Timu maneuvers, and it's getting a little bit close. A little bit close for comfort.
Oh, good. Bounty hunters.
Right.
More ships for us.
And kind of maintaining a safe distance. Kind of turning a little bit. Oh, that's fine. Okay. He's going to kind of turn a little bit. Get a little damage. And he's going to turn a little bit more. Some more damage. Bounty hunters can be quite tedious. Okay, I think one more and we got it, right? True. It's true. We just have to get the. Oh boy! Oh, we got Clam on board too. The philosophical Clam. Oh, we You seem to have a stowaway.
Turn him into fish food.
Oh, thank you, Joe. Yes. We got another one. So we got Philosophical Clam in the game, and we got Sam, two people that used to always play the game with me all the time. So we got one like that's helping the ship get repaired if something happens, and then you got me and the other guy, Sam, firing at this thing. Okay. Ooh. Turn more that way. And you can even fire that way.
Keep at it! There'll be loot aboard those ships!
Whiskey. I like rum, but this man's like it's whiskey, okay. Then we gotta turn a little bit more. Oh, let me explain, okay. And then you're gonna get into an explanation.
Bounty hunter!
Okay. Okay, here we go. Ah, good. Okay, good.
Plunder those ships!
Those little dingy thing. Oh, that's hilarious. Okay.
Watch out, Captain. The Navy's lying in wait at the port, and we've got warships after us. Take what you can. Give nothing back.
Okay, because I'm piloting a ship and talking to people at the same time is interesting. Okay. We're going to go way over here.
The Navy's closed down all ports. The Tortuga's open.
Okay, so now we're going to turn over this direction. Whenever the Navy comes, that's going to be really interesting. Okay, and let's see how this goes. See how was this 3? I feel like one of those pirates in Somalia with a little dinghy ship. That's what I feel right now. That's kind of like why I'm not talking too much. Whoa!
To Davy Jones's locker.
That's incredible. That was... And we have the philosophical clam took all the whiskey. So now we just have rum left. Ooh. Okay. Gotta turn. Okay. Let's see. Let's see. Okay. Let's see how this goes. Very careful here. I'm gonna turn another direction. Let's see how this goes. This is incredible. Shout out to the team in the game. Just 3 of us are taking out this ship. Wow, that's crazy. Let's give him some ammunition. Oh, there we go.
Turn him into fish food.
Oh, I got level up Norty. I went to level 48. Everybody, I just made a new level. Scared. Alrighty. Oh, okay. I thought something was out there. Okay. Oh, okay. We got another one lurking. No contest. Yeah, that's true. That's true. Yeah, all the whiskey is helping the ship. Okay. All right, you got the stupid ship right here. It's a Timu ship coming. Or a Timu ship coming. Okay. Getting a little bit of a tactical advantage here. And then we're going to turn and go that little bit forward. Then it's going to go that way. Then it's going to finish. All right. Very good. All right.
Keep at it! There'll be loot aboard those ships!
Ah, yes. Okay. Ooh, the Navy's here. Oh, Lord. Want to see how this goes? Turn, turn, turn. It's going to be interesting. I'm going to brace for cover. Yeah, that's true. Okay. Let's see how this goes. We're at an advantage. We're gonna get this is one of the biggest ships. Alright, I'm literally at the edge of my seat. Been a while since I've done this. Alright, the power-up's back. Turning in. Call for fire. There we go. Beautiful.
Another ship inbound, Captain.
Oh, another
Seems
one
like they're calling
down.
for help.
Okay. Turning into it. And the crew's firing at it at full speed. Excellent. Forward. I'll take a hit. Got wiped out a little bit. That's okay. Alright. Okay. That's a good idea. I'm gonna take this ship out. Keep a very safe distance because it's throwing a flamethrower at the ship. They'll sink it instantly. Instantly sink it. Let's get this done right now.
To Davy Jones's locker.
All right, so now we're going to kind of go out into the ocean out into the sea while we get this thing repaired, and we'll get that other opponent, and probably go back to the shore. Shout out to the crew in the game; they're doing excellent. Okay, so we're gonna go out this way. Okay. And we're gonna be careful because we got a Timu ship. It's coming. We're gonna go a little bit out more. Shout the Bubbles. He's excited for the game. Alright. We're gonna go this direction and fire. Doesn't do anything because the wind was not my side. Okay. I'm going to go out in this way, this direction. And go to Tortuga. We defeated the enemies. So we're gonna go back to Tortuga. Catapult. And then we'll end the stream. I would play it longer. But we've reached the end. Turn this direction. Alright, let's see this. Hello, Texas Cutie. Great to see you. Welcome. This is my pirate game. Yes, thank the whiskey. Alright. Alright. Okay, going this way. Oh, good. We got him in a cluster. That's nice. Okay. And going to turn in that direction. And we're going to put safety on for the ship, and we're going to fire. We're going to watch, we're going to watch, we're going to watch, we're going to watch this way. Okay, we're going to glide that way. Okay. And nice. Yeah, it's a drive-by. Okay, this is gonna be interesting. Okay. Cool. I gotta make sure watching. Okay. Oh, good. Excellent. Now we're going that way. Okay, good. This way. Continue fight. Okay, good.
Turn him into fish food.
Okay. Oh, the philosophical claim took my gin too. Well, he certainly needed it. Oh, no, not that way, not that way. Wait, not good. Okay. Ah, there we go. Okay. Okay, good.
Keep at
Okay,
it.
good.
There
Now
are
we're gonna
no
go to
more
Tortuga.
ships.
Okay. Alright, going forward. And we're going to shout out to the gin and whiskey, because that's how we got here. Okay, we're gonna go to Tortuga now. That was awesome. Thank you, Joe. Arg, my crew. Arg. Alright, so we're going to kind of glide here until we get to the shore. Okay, and typo. Okay. Because they're right on my tail, so close. Three of them are on my tail. Okay. There is a speed thing. I need speed.
Too many Navy at this point, but Tortuga's open.
More gin and whiskey. Creek. This is just 2 people besides me. It's 3 people in a small dinghy ship did a lot. And a Timu ship did a lot. We defeated the whole navy. Alright. Okay. We're going to dock right now. Here we go. There we go. We made it back safely. Alright. Whew. High seas hat. All right. Okay, this way. Trash this. I'll put this here. Put this here. Exactly. And then we're going to take one of these pew-pews. Take one of the swords, tempered. Tempered, we're going to take that out. Trash it and replace it with this. Go here. Alrighty. Alright, I'm going to tell them thanks, mates. And the philosophical clam took the rum. He took the rum, the gin, and the whiskey, but he did great. He needed all that to do what we had to do. Alright. So, alright. I got a new hat. And now we'll be switching over. Okay. Now let's go this way. Alright, buddy, so we played the game as I said I would, and we were going to be playing the game again. And I want to thank you all for being here, hanging out with us. We had an excellent stream. Shout out to all of you that came here watching, listening, and lurking. Thank you, Joe, for hanging out with me. And everybody take care, and peace.